What would cause a straight A, Ivy League grad, and top performer to end up in the ER because she couldn't stop working even with pneumonia? Sarah could barely breathe, but she still showed up to her Zoom meetings, camera on and a fake smile plastered across her face, until her body collapsed. Now, you might call this dedication, but it's actually a trauma response. If you've ever felt like no matter how hard you try, it's never enough, or you beat yourself up for tiny little mistakes, or it's hard to ask for help, or if resting feels wrong, then this video could save your life, because what we call perfectionism is actually a behavior that your subconscious mind is running to keep you safe, loved, and seen. But it comes with a cost, and sometimes that cost could be your life. Perfectionism has been known to ruin relationships and businesses and even cause people to end their life due to the immense amount of depression they feel and anxiety they experience over having to exert themselves to be perfect. But perfect for who? Before we get started, if you get any value out of this video, please give this video a thumbs up and share this video with someone you think it can help. That alone just helps me help this channel grow so this message can reach more people. And I'd love to hear your experience in the comments down below if you feel open to sharing. I'd like to just ask that you leave nice comments because we are talking about trauma here and I'd like to create a safe space for everyone. So let's back up and explain how this all gets started. If you grew up in a household where love was conditional or being seen and validated was tied to your performance, or your emotional needs weren't really fully met, or your household was chaotic, then your developing brain adapted to your environment and those experiences. And the thing that most people don't realize is that your brain is still developing even after you're born, and it's being shaped by the trauma that you survived. Dr. de Beaumont says that trauma isn't what happens to you, it's what happens inside of you as a result of what happens to you. It's the meaning and decisions your brain is making as it relates to the experiences that you're having. For example, let's look at Sarah. As a little one, she came home from school and she was very proud of the story she had written. And her teacher gave her a B. There were some spelling and grammar issues, and her father saw this grade and he completely dismissed her and didn't read the paper because she didn't get an A+, and he didn't want to waste his time. This experience happened a lot to Sarah. Having a caregiver dismiss you and choose to ignore you breaks the heart of that little one because all they want is to be seen and loved by their parents. And that experience is traumatic for little Sarah. And she made a decision that day. I have to get it 100% right for Daddy to love me. When that experience is repeated, that becomes a decision that will get ingrained in little Sarah's subconscious mind. And that decision becomes a subconscious belief, or what we can call programming, that will operate in her subconscious mind, and it will stay with her into her adult life, influencing how she behaves. It's really important to understand this about your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is your survival mind, and its number one job is to keep you alive, and it does that by making sure that you are liked by the tribe, your family, because your tribe can protect you and they can keep you safe. And when you're a little one, you're completely dependent upon the care of others in order to survive. So as a child, Sarah's subconscious mind learned that in order to be loved by her father, she had to make him happy. So her brain adapted and learned what makes Daddy happy and what doesn't. What gets Daddy's positive attention and what doesn't. And since love is conditional, Sarah's subconscious mind learned that in order to survive, she had to be perfect. And surviving to the subconscious mind means getting Daddy's approval, because that means you're liked by the tribe. So imagine this. If Sarah stops striving to be perfect, her brain is going to equate that to death, which is exclusion and being ignored. No wonder she's experiencing depression and anxiety as an adult. The poor thing doesn't feel love deep down, and she's continuing to strive for approval for the rest of her life, leading her to exhaustion. Perfectionism is a survival adaptation, and it gets stored in your subconscious mind. And the only way to truly overcome this is to reprogram your subconscious mind. Now, I've spent the past 2 decades of my life mastering reprogramming the subconscious mind. It's the only thing that I found that worked for me, that and healing ancestral trauma, which is also what I do. If you're interested in working together, I have a link for a complimentary 15-minute Zoom call with me. It's in the description down below, and we can see if working together would be a good fit. Sarah was the all-good child. She was the perfect one. She never caused any trouble, she got straight A's most of the time, and she did what she was told. Mommy and Daddy approved of her, most of the time. But it was intermittent, and that intermittent reinforcement got her hooked and addicted to their approval. But inside, Sarah was exhausted and terrified of making a mistake, and filled with shame whenever she slowed down. And she never dared ask for help, because if she was caught not getting it right, that could mean humiliation, or worse, getting ignored. When her body gave out during a 12-hour workday, she cried in the hospital bed, saying, "I don't have time to rest. I need to get back to work." And underneath, buried deep in her subconscious mind, was a belief that was ruining her life. If I'm not perfect, no one will want me. That was the heartbreaking experience Sarah was having inside her mind. That's trauma. And Sarah isn't alone. It shows up before, during, and after everything that you do. Before a project, you procrastinate. Maybe you're paralyzed by the pressure to get it right, because there's so much at stake if you don't. It can happen during a project. Maybe you second guess yourself, or you overthink, or you give up, or stop moving forward because what if you get it wrong? I mean, that could mean humiliation. And after, let's say, you push through and you finally get the project done, it's hard for you to celebrate because all you see are the flaws. What you do will never be good enough, because that's what you learned to survive growing up. And your subconscious mind will continue to recreate that same painful experience, because that's the programming it knows in order to keep you alive and safe. So if you don't want to live with this, you have to teach and reprogram your subconscious mind to know a new way to survive. You have to program it to know that you're lovable just as you are. You constantly had to strive for more in order to be seen, and your subconscious mind learned that in order to keep you safe, you had to keep going and reaching for more. But now you're depressed or filled with lots of anxiety, because this is what's going on below the surface. Dr. Gabor Mate puts it this way: perfectionism is not a virtue, it's a wound that needs to be healed. It's not just about wanting to do well. It's about avoiding pain, rejection, abandonment, and humiliation. In fact, many perfectionists come from families where children fall into these unspoken roles. The first is the all-good child. They perform for love, and they often become the perfectionist. The second one is the all-bad child, and they act out, they rebel, they take on the family's shame, and the negative characteristics of the parents are unconsciously projected onto that child. And the third one is the lost child. They're emotionally invisible, they're silenced, and often they struggle with depression, and sometimes, in the worst case of scenarios, they commit suicide. There's a very powerful experiment by Dr. Masaru Emoto that helps to illustrate the damaging effects that this can have on children. He did a rice experiment, which involved placing cooked rice into 3 jars. The first one was labeled, "I love you." The second jar was labeled, "You fool," and the last one was completely ignored. And over 30 days, the rice given the loving words stayed mostly clean, and the one insulted turned moldy, and the jar that was ignored decayed the most. And the experiment suggests that our words, intentions, and even our attention may influence physical matter. The one labeled, "I love you," fermented sweetly. The one labeled, "You fool," turned black. And the one that was completely ignored rotted the fastest. The lesson is that neglect causes more damage than hate. And that's the perfectionist's fear. If I don't get this 100% right, I'll be ignored. And that means death to the subconscious mind. So what can you do to heal this? Well, the first step is awareness. If you're not aware of the problem, you can't fix it. The second one is you have to want to change. There's this joke, how many healers does it take to change a light bulb? 1, but the light bulb has to want to change. And the third step, in my opinion, is you have to reprogram these outdated limiting beliefs that are formed as a result of the trauma that you experienced in childhood that's causing you to push yourself, to prove yourself that you're worthy of love. Please remember that we're all perfectly imperfect, and it's your imperfections that make you who you are. And that's a very beautiful thing. And I would love to help you reprogram your subconscious mind so that you know deep down just how truly lovable you are, so that you can really enjoy life and not have to overextend yourself. It's time to get you out of survival mode and into thriving mode. And if you're interested in learning more about the subconscious mind and how it gets programmed, you can check out this video here.